Hello everyone, today we're gonna go over the new teaser trailer that just dropped last night for OP-09. They've revealed a bunch of new cards, and frankly they're like the major cards of the set, it seems, at least some of them. So they're gonna be having a pretty big impact on what we think about the decks and what we know about this set going forward. Basically, they're very important cards, which is why they get their own video right now, because I do have a lot of opinions on a lot of them. And basically, that's what we're going to be doing today. We'll watch the trailer and then we'll go over all the cards as they show up. So let's get started. So first we have all of this actual trailer stuff. Got Shanks reacting to the bounty. I think this is when he says, "I think it's time to claim the One Piece." Yeah. Exciting stuff. The 2nd year anniversary. OP-09. 4 Emperors with Lim and Nico Robin. That's the first card. This card's actually been revealed before. This is Adio. I know my face is a bit in the way here. I do apologize. I can't be fucked moving it around all over the place because we kind of need this space. But first of all the alt arts for the leaders have been revealed in this as well, so we'll just quickly gloss over that. This is Lim. Cool alt art, nothing too crazy. So there's that, and then the Audio here. We'll go over him quickly, even though he's been revealed before. I do have a note block here. Let's go. So we'll start with Audio. On play, if your leader has the Odyssey type, set up to 3 of your Dawn as active. And then on opponent's attack once per turn, you may rest one of your Dawn up to one of your leader or character gains power plus 2,000 for the battle. So basically this is like a 2k counter, but it costs a Dawn, right? So not optimal, but not a bad effect. 4/9 Dawn with a 9k body. I know you can't tell. 9 cost, 9k body, counterless. I don't think it does what it wants to do. Of course, it sets up 3 Dawn as active. So realistically, on a 10 Dawn turn, you'll have 4 Dawn to do anything else with. But I just don't think that's very good. It's a little bit, I don't know. I feel like if it's might be too slow. That might be what I'm feeling. You play it, you have some extra Dawn to do stuff with, but it's so few Dawns that it's not even that good. And the 9k body you're establishing for such a large cost, it's not great. And the effect is, it's kind of mid as well. I know green has like a couple of outs. They have the what's it called, Urogi, whatever people want to call him, the supernova blocker that end of turn sets Adonis active, which would go great with this card, right? And you can actually play him if you're on 10. You can play this and then Urog, and then you're kind of set. But as a 10 Dawn play, that's not that optimal. So I don't know. I don't know what I feel about this. Of course, I don't know what I feel about Lim in general. But we'll see. We'll see. We need some more reveals. Obviously, this is nothing new and exciting, so we'll just move on. Now, this is exciting stuff. First of all, we get the alt art for Nico Robin, which is, I think this is from Skypea. She says something crazy to NL or something fucking sick. Great looking art, perfect, lovely. We do love the zoomed in faces, so that's great. And then we have this one, which is, let me put up my notepad again. This is Robin, which is on play. Let's move this over here. On play, if your opponent has 3 or more life, trash up to one of the top cards of your opponent's life. And then it also has a trigger, which is play up to 1 cost 3 or less yellow character from your hand, which is it's a bit odd. I don't know about that. Like, the way it would work, right, basically, is that the triggers in this game, generally, like the good trigger cards, they are like discard 1 and then play this card, right? And this is kind of the same situation. Basically, you'll get 1 card out, but you're -2 from hand. And since it's costs 3 or less yellow character, I don't think it's going to be that good. It's very limited. But the exciting stuff about this trigger is that this card is boostable in BELO Betty. Woo! BELO Betty support! Which is crazy, because this on-play effect is actually also very good in BELO Betty, right? Because let's say on 2 you play like a BELO Betty and a race max or something, and then on 4 you go like Ivanka or something. You're gonna swing at your opponent. If they counter out now, right? They counter out of these like small swings. They're still gonna be at 3 or more life when you get to your 6th Dawn turn, and boom, then you smack down the Robin, and all of a sudden you've established a 6k body that is boostable, and they've also trashed the top card of their life. Mind you, it's not adding to hand, it's literally trash. So you're gaining so much value from this one play, and then you can still, on that turn, you can still boost and swing and stuff. You just have to sequence properly, which I think is great. It's a good 6k body is a good thing to get in BELO Betty for sure, because now you're swinging 9k, which is a magic number, which is lovely. And also just trashing a card from your opponent's life is really good. I don't think it's a 4-off, but it's probably at least a 2-off in BELO Betty. Very sick card. I like it a lot, especially in BELO Betty. I don't know what I feel about it in other decks. But from now, BELO Betty is what I care about. So it fits good in BELO Betty, I think. It's always fun when we get new trigger cards to explore new archetypes with BELO Betty with. So I love the fact that they got her a trigger, even though it sucks ass. The card itself is very good, very strong. Moving on. Getting into the 4 Emperors here. Buggy, Shanks, Blackbeard, and Luffy. And this is where things get exciting. Alright, you can't see this guy. This is Crocodile. This is 7 cost, 7k power, 1k counter. His tags are Cross Guild and Former Baroque Works. And his effect, let's pull it up. Crocodile's effect is, on play, play up to 1 character with the Cross Guild type or with a type including Baroque Works and a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So basically you'll cheat out a 5 or less Cross Guild or Former Baroque Works type thingy. But this is nice, right? Because it actually works with a bunch of the Impel Down cards. Like you can bring out like Mr. 2 and Mr. 3 and stuff. And I think there's a Mr. 1. I think, unfortunately, EBO1, Mr. 1 is 6 costs. Might look that up real quick, actually. He is 5 costs, actually. Okay, so the Mr. 1 from EBO1 that says if your leader has Baroque Works in the type, he gains 1000 power for every 2 events in your trash. He is actually pretty good, and you can bring him out with this. Unfortunately, he is leader locked, so you won't be doing anything with that in Buggy. But nonetheless, this is a really good card for Buggy in general, right? Because you reach your 5 Dawn turn, you can rest 5 Dawn with leader effect and discard a card, cheat out the Crocodile, and then Crocodile cheats out something else. So on your 5 Dawn turn, you're going to be establishing a 7 cost body and a 5 cost body, right? Which I don't know if you can keep up with that. Like if you're playing Lucci or something, you're not going to be able to remove both of those threats. And then the next turn you can do something similar again, bring out another big body, right? So yet it is unfortunate that it is a 7 cost because it makes it not that good to play off leader ability. You're basically discarding a card to discount this card by 2 Dawn. But the fact that he brings out other cards kind of makes up for that value right there. That you're kind of losing out on. So it's a 7k body who brings out another potential 6-7k body, which is great for Buggy. Love this for his first reveal. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a bigger Mihawk and maybe even a 10 cost Buggy or something. So far this is lovely. I love where they're going with Buggy. And I think Buggy's still, I got faith in Buggy still. I think Buggy's gonna do great things for this card game. So moving on. Here is the big one that everyone is talking about. 10 cost Blackbeard. 10 cost, 12k power, blocker. And let's pull up his effect here. Here he is. So he is a blocker. He is an activate main, obviously, because the Blackbeard leader negates on plays, so it wouldn't make any sense. And it says, activate main once per turn if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, and if this character was played this turn. So basically it's an activate main just to avoid the on-play negates from the leader, but it's basically only on the turn you play him where you can activate it. So the effect is up to one of your opponent's leader's effects are negated for the rest of the turn. So for the rest of Blackbeard's turn, opponent's leader effects are negated. After this, up to one of your opponent's character effects are negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. And that character also cannot attack. So basically it's a stunner, but it also negates effects, which, as we're seeing right now, it's an effect negating is not that deep. I think basically I fail to see any cards that this will be that relevant with, unfortunately. But leader effect negating is very interesting. Thank God that it's only on Blackbeard's turn. So it basically only counters abilities that activate on your opponent's turn, right? Like Jewelry Bonnie, Enel. A friend of mine mentioned Nami is going to be interesting because Nami now can't deck out on their opponent's turn. But things like that are very interesting. But luckily, it's not going to face the cards that have like leaders that have abilities that play on your own turn, like BELO Betty. What else we got? Buggy. And like, you know, other stuff, right? But like Yellow Purple Croc is going to hate this card. So it's very interesting, but I don't think it's as good as people are saying. But basically, it is a 12k blocker at the end of the day, no matter how you see it. But like I said, it could be harmful to a bunch of different decks. For example, Enel and Bonnie and stuff, where it's kind of really, really hard for them to have any sort of leader ability. And being hit with like a back-to-back Blackbeard is going to be so rough that it's just going to be kind of a game winner against those decks. But realistically, against decks that don't play their leader ability on their opponent's turn, this is basically just a 10k, 12k blocker that stuns a character, right? Because the negating of an effect is not that deep. Players say that, oh, it can negate a blocker. Yeah, sure. But then, you know, that character is not going to be blocking, right? That's the only thing that you're losing. That character still sticks on the board, and oh yeah, big whoop, I can't attack with it. Well, I wasn't gonna attack with it because it's a blocker anyways. And like if you're pushing lethal, you know, 10 Dawn to establish a 12k body is not gonna be the right play, right? So it's kind of counterproductive in that sense. But unfortunately, we don't have enough characters at the moment that have like activate mains or when attacking and stuff where it's like that deep, right? It's not going to hit that hard for most decks, but maybe in OP-09 we'll see a bunch of these cards getting like activate mains and stuff, seeing more play because Blackbeard, the leader, negates on place, right? So definitely gonna be interesting. Maybe we're gonna see a whole ass meta shift because of this one leader and this character here. So it's gonna be very interesting. Moving on to the next card. And here we see the alt art for Gear 5 Luffy. I think a lot of people are disappointed that it's not the muscle one as the regular art. But of course they would take the laughing Luffy face as the art. It's typical. It's they have to, right? It's the most iconic look that we have from Gear 5 Luffy. We don't have that many looks. It could have been the fucking glasses as well. That would have been sick. It's not though. It is the laughing one because of course, very typical. But this Sanji on the other hand, you can't see, but it's a 7 cost, 7k body, 1k counter. Sanji, Straw Hat Crew. And his effect is, let's pull him up, Sanji. On play, you may return one or more of your Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck, right? So it's a Dawn -1, but if you want to, you can return more Dawn, right? Which doesn't make any sense until you look at the Luffy leader that says, oh, Dawn, if you Dawn -2 or more, you get to activate the leader ability, which is add a rested Dawn and an active Dawn from your Dawn deck. So basically, he says Dawn -1 or Dawn -0 and restand a Dawn, basically, right? Because it says Dawn -1 or use your leader ability. So very interesting that it's worded like this, and I wonder if more of the Straw Hat Crew support we're gonna see is gonna have this wording, because I think this is a very sick way to word characters, right? just for this leader. So that is great. Love to see it. Basically, he's free, right? He's free, and he even restands a Dawn in Luffy. And the actual effect is this character gains Rush for this turn, then rest up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters, which is great. This is amazing. Rush, first of all, on a 7k is great, right? But he also restands a Dawn with leader ability, so he's swinging for 8 on his Rush turn, basically, depending on if you want to attach the Dawn or not, obviously. But if you do that, he's an 8k swinger, and you're resting a 6 cost or lower, which you can just straight up swing into, right? So that is great. It reminds me, like, the playstyle reminds me a little bit of Ichiji from Reiju, right? The 7 cost Ichiji, but instead of minusing power, he rests something. So it's like, I like this card. I like this card a lot. I think it's very good. I think getting a 7k rusher out and being able to use leader ability and stuff, I think it's good, but I think we're gonna need to see more support for Luffy to be great. I wish the card they revealed would have been like a 5 cost, because the 5 Dawn turn is gonna be crucial for the Luffy here, depending on what kind of 5 cost card we get. Because basically we're gonna be dropping on 10 Dawn, we're gonna be dropping our Gear 5 Luffy Secret Rare from OP-05. We're gonna go down to 0, and then leader effect is gonna activate. We're gonna get an active, 1 rested. We're back to 2 Dawn. We're gonna use Gear 5 Luffy's effect. We're back to 3. We pass turn. It goes back to us, and we have 5 Dawn to work with, right? So the play that you're gonna have on 5 Dawn after you've used Gear 5 Luffy, that is the turn that's gonna matter, right? That's where the power of Gear 5 Luffy is gonna come into play. And if we don't have anything good to play off that, then that's a shame. That's a huge shame. But still, Sanji, very interesting card, and I think I think it's a good addition. I think he has 1k counter, right? Yep, he has 1k counter, so it's definitely playable for sure. I think this is going to be played in all of the Luffy leaders for sure. Moving on to the next card. Here we have the alt art Shanks, and I think this is the Divine Departure art, right? Like right before he fucks up Kid. What do I know? But we have Beckman here. 7 costs, 7k power. I'm sensing a theme. 7 costs, 7,000 power, just like Croc and Sanji. And 1k counter, Beckman, red hair pirates. And then his on play is actually very simple. It is on play, trash up to one of your opponent's character with a power of 6k or less. So if you don't know, trashing a character is not the same as KOing a character. Trashing a character means that I don't think they get KO effects, but most importantly, you get around KO negates, right? So something like Borsalino from OP-02, the blocker that becomes 6k and cannot die from KO effects, he just gets trashed, just like this. And somebody's said that it's funny because Beckman is very lore accurate, right? Because the way he runs up at Marineford and he kind of just points a gun at Kizaru, and Kizaru is like, oh, Beckman. So he kind of counters Borsalino with this effect because he just trashes Borsalino, right? But unfortunately, I do think that 6k is a little bit slow. Basically, the reason why black is so much better than red, right? Because they do the same thing, right? They negate lower power and KO depending on power, whereas black lowers cost and then KOs depending on cost, right? They do the same thing, these colors. But the fact is that costs is generally lower than power, right? The way cards curve out in this game is that, but like vanilla standard cards, right? They're, let's say a 5 cost, for example, that card is going to have 7k power. So it's going to be harder to remove a 7k than a 5 cost, because that's just numbers. 5 is lower than 7. And unfortunately, Beckman here is falling for that same treatment that Red has been getting on their removal stuff. A 7 cost to remove a 6k is unfortunately a little bit off curve. If it was a 7k, that would be great. That would be so good. 6k is just like a turn too late. You're not gonna be like, when they're on 6 Dawn, they're normally not gonna drop a 6k body or anything like that. They're gonna be dropping bodies that are much higher, and then when you get to 7, oh, you want to Ben Beckman, oh, you can't, because he's not gonna have any good targets. So very unfortunate. I think he's a little bit too weak. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see what kind of support. We do have one more card to go over in this video, and that frankly might be enough to make Ben Beckman a little bit better. So let's jump straight to that card. It is a bit away though, because it's a long ass trailer. Here he comes. Ooh, Divine Departure. There he is. So this is Shanks, which I'm assuming is super rare. And his effect is super simple. He is, if I can get this up. All of your opponent's characters have minus 1000 power, and he has Rush. I do believe this is the first 12k Rusher we've had. I think the other, like the Luffy, the 10 cost Luffy, he's 11k. But his effect is much better, in my opinion. So this is, it's kind of an card, I think. I don't know what to think about this card. It's a 10k, 12k body. Shanks, 4 Emperors, Red Hair Pirates. Counterless, unfortunately. The art is incredible. It's such a good looking art. But unfortunately, I think this card just does too little for the 10 Dawn that you're investing into this. So unless we're seeing some kind of card that's able to cheat out, like a Shanks. Like, let's say they drop like an 7 cost Makino or something that plays a Shanks from your hand, maybe. But like, this is just too late in the game for what it wants to do. Basically, I think this should have been the leader ability of Shanks, honestly. And then Shanks' leader ability should have been on this card. I think giving everything minus 1k is great, right? Because it's both on your turn and your opponent's turn. But it's too late. It's too little too late. And frankly, like, what... I think we've seen too many other 10 costs being so much stronger than this Shanks is, that this Shanks just seems underwhelming, right? Like, just compare this Shanks to, I don't know, what's a good 10 cost? Kaido? Secret Rare Kaido? Secret Rare Gear 5 Luffy? Like, even the fucking Rayleigh, the 8 cost Secret Rare Rayleigh is a better card, you know? Like, it's like 8 cost Moria shits on this card, right? And that's an 8 cost. So I don't know about this card. I feel like it would be great. Like, the effect is good. But like, is this sticking on board? Maybe. But like, if it doesn't, you're fucked. And I don't know about this card, dude. I feel like it's too little. Like, 1k is too little for a 10 cost. Yes, he has Rush, but that's like it. That's the one thing you got going for you. So very unfortunate on that end. It seems like Shanks is not gonna be doing anything, frankly. Right now, it seems more like it's going to be one of them decks that kind of locks out your opponent by just negating all of their power so hard that like they're just not going to be able to swing into your leader, because you have this and you have leader effect, and then maybe we'll see some other cards that have similar effects. So like all of your opponent's board just gets like no power even on their turn. That would be sick, but it doesn't seem like it. So I don't know about Shanks. Not looking great, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that's all I had to say about Shanks. Not too much to say. Look at this tiny little effect box. I think that was all the cards revealed, actually. Yeah, that is it. What is this? Release date 38th of August. 38th? 31st of August is release date for this set. So I think what we've learned today is... there are some exciting cards, for sure. But there are also some less exciting cards. Unfortunately, it is the red cards that are less exciting. Terribly sorry, Shanks. It's not looking too good. But Buggy's looking great. Luffy's looking good. Blackbeard's looking fun. But I'm not gonna go play Black, because I know bitch. And then, of course, the Nico Robin, which is basically BELO Betty support. I love it. That's great. So that's the cards that we've been revealed. I thought I'd do a quick video. I know it's not that quick; it's pretty long, but just a quick video talking about where everything's gonna end up in the meta. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment something nice, because you are a cool person. And then I'll see you in the next video. Maybe when we get some more reveals from OP-09. Bye.